Hello and welcome to another Owl Nights review. I'm JoJo and I'll be reviewing Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2 was released in 2023 and is an action role-playing game developed by Dambuster Studio and published by Deep Silver. It is a sequel to the 2011 video game Dead Island and is actually the third installment in the Dead Island series. Fair warning, this game is intended for mature audiences and is very graphic. Those who are squeamish, this game is not for you. With that being said, this review will be more geared towards adult gamers and those who may not be affected as much by gore and guts. The game allows you to choose between 6 different characters, all with their own set of stats and bonuses like most RPG style games. In this they call them innate skills, with the usual toughness, stamina, and resilience stats to go along with them. I'm generally an up in the mix type player, so I went with Ryan, who has a toughness maxed out. As mentioned before, each player comes with different skill sets that can be changed throughout the playthrough, with each skill adding in perks. The skill tree offers abilities, survivor, slayer, and Newman branches that unlock as you level up. The game allows you to choose which skills are active, which is nice considering the game is a zombie slayer RPG and not a typical RPG. Dead Island 2 does offer co-op, but it is not local co-op, and you must progress slightly into the game before co-op actually becomes available to you. I believe it's a total of 3 missions to unlock co-op. Co-op has a max player count of 3 players, so you won't have 6 players ganging up on zombie sets. One feature in this game that I was pleasantly surprised with was it allowed you to set up voice commands with Alexa. Now you don't need to own an Alexa speaker, but you need an Amazon account to set up the feature for you to be able to properly use the voice prompts usable in the game. I recorded myself using them, and I'll point out I accidentally had my mic muted on my headset at one point, but the feature is actually pretty accurate. Best weapon and a fun add-in. Best weapon. Best weapon. Worst weapon. Set waypoint. Hey you. Also something to point out, Alexa doesn't understand jump scares. Prep. Weapon customization isn't overly complex and pretty straightforward to where you won't need to spend a whole lot of time mulling over which mods to add on. What is nice is that they aren't permanent and can be swapped out as you play and travel to new locations in the game. The variety of zombies is something to take into account, as some are immune to some effects. This is an open world game that if you stick to the storyline takes around 15 hours to complete. Whereas if you are a completionist and want to knock out the side quest, there is plenty to explore, and it generally takes 30 plus hours to complete. Also taking into account co-op play, there's plenty of game to play and dive into and enjoy. That can go well past that mark. Dead Island 2 again is not intended for younger gamers or gamers who may be squeamish to gory games. The controls at first can feel somewhat clunky compared to other action games, but not enough to break the game. The variety of enemies and customizations adds to the playability of the overall game. This, however, from a casual gamer standpoint, is an enjoyable experience. Thank you for checking out this review. I'm JoJo from Owl Nights Media. Please check out our other reviews on YouTube, as well as our podcast on Spotify and YouTube as well, which release on Thursdays. It is greatly appreciated and all comments and feedback are welcome.